All right, so here we're going to look at something we kind of just talked about, rewriting negative exponents into positive exponents. And so this does sometimes have some of our rules combined together. But basically, if you have negative exponents, you want to think you have a top and a bottom, okay? And if you have negative exponents in the top, then you're going to put them into bottom. If that makes sense. It will in a second. If you have negative exponents on bottom, how can that work? It makes sense. In the bottom, then you're going to put them up on top. Okay? So what I mean by that is if we have something with a negative exponent, let's say it's x to the negative fifth, okay? We need to make that negative exponent turn into a positive one. So we don't really see a top and bottom right here, right? But we can make it look like that. So if I give it a bottom, then I know that this guy, the thing with the negative exponent, has to go down here. And when it goes down there, this exponent becomes positive. Now, is there anything stuck to x that we see? No, not really. But we can always put in that 1 there. And that 1 is fine. That 1 doesn't have a negative exponent. So that 1 goes up there. A lot of times people look at that and they think, oh, flip it, which in this case is not wrong, but it's not always an actual flip. Meaning this. So if I had this as an example, again, this exponent is only on this x. It's not on the whole thing, and I know that because it's not in parentheses. So when I take this and I need to make this negative exponent positive, the only thing that this is on is this guy. So this 2 is fine. The 2 is going to stay. The x is going to move. Okay, these guys got divorced. One wasn't happy, now he is. If we have negative exponents in the bottom, for whatever reason, if we had something like this, okay, then it's not happy here. It doesn't like being here. So we're going to take that and we're going to move it up on top. This 3 is perfectly fine. It doesn't have any negative exponents on it, so it's going to stay. And when we move that back up, the exponent becomes positive. And if we did have something where there's negatives in both areas, like let's say we had this. Okay. So these are not the same base, so we can't do anything with them as far as like combining the exponents together. Hey, stop it. Cat scratching on the couch. But this is negative. This has a negative exponent. Where it's at? This guy's going to move. This b has a negative exponent where it's at, so this guy's going to move. Basically switching apartments. So this b is going to come up and turn into a positive exponent. This a is going to go downstairs, and they like living downstairs. Okay, so they both get turned into positive exponents there. If you have a number as a base and an exponent on there, in theory, then you want to simplify that, right? So if you had something like this, you can put that in your calculator, but what's going to happen is that odds are, most likely, depending on your calculator, it's going to give you a decimal answer. It's not what the point of this is. The point is to simplify this in a fraction form. So again, this is 7 with a negative exponent on it. We don't see a bottom, but we can make a bottom. And now I'm going to move this guy downstairs. Okay. And when I do, that exponent becomes positive. Now, if I move something and I've created a fraction, I have to have something up on top, right? So think of that 1 as going upstairs. Okay, now this is perfectly fine, but they do want you, usually what we do is we finish this out. So what is 7 squared? Hopefully you didn't say 14. Hopefully you said 49, because 7 times 7 is 49. Okay. There might be some combination of a few things. So we have done order of operations before. Right? So order of operations, right here. Now when we say parentheses, you know, there's a lot of parentheses sometimes, but when we see that P, that means that if there's something to do inside the parentheses, and in this case, we can do this. We can do 5 times 3, right? So 5 times 3 is 15. And just like this, up here, it has a -2 on it. So what do? We move that guy downstairs. And 15 squared, you know, I know a couple squares off the top of my head. I think it's 225. After 13, I kind of forget. So 15 squared is 225. So in the simplified form, this would be 1 over 225. Okay. Now remember, we talked about when we multiply, when we have the same base, we add the same bases, okay? So sometimes we have stuff to do first. We see what we have left, and then we have to move things maybe up or down a few times. Okay. So let's look at something like this. Read what I wrote. I think that's a 3. Okay. All right. So again, when we multiply, this is a big number in front, big number in front. So we're going to multiply these two numbers together. And it's okay to have a negative big number. That's fine. It's about the exponents. Okay. So we're going to take -4 and multiply by 9. There we get -36. And now we're going to look at our x's. We have x to the -2 times x to the 4th. So like we said, when we multiply with the same base, we add our exponents. So what is -2 plus 4? Or think about it as 4 plus -2. It's a +2. So when we combine these, this will be positive. There we go. Positive x squared. When we look at the y's now, y to the -8, y to the 3rd. So we're multiplying these two bases. We're going to add these two exponents. So you're down 8 and you come up 3. It means that you're still in negative land. So y has an exponent of -5. So mathematically, this is all fine. This is correct. But simplified, we have to make negative exponents become positive, okay? This is not a negative exponent. This is just a negative number, and it's fine where it's at. This has a positive exponent now, because after we combine these, it became a +2, so it's fine upstairs. But here, when we combine these guys, then it was still a negative. So we have to divorce these guys, and the y is going to move downstairs. And he's happier downstairs, so his exponent becomes positive. All right. And last, you might see something with what looks like a fraction, but, well, it is a fraction. There is another rule, being an exponent rule. When you raise a power to a power. Okay? So I'll show you what I mean by that in a second, but the rule is you're going to multiply the exponents. So if we had something where it says x to the third to the fourth power, if I wrote this out 4 times, this is what that means, right? So now that I see, well, I have all these same bases, I can add my exponents. Well, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So if I do that, I get x equals, or excuse me, x to the 12th. What's another way I can get to 12? By multiplying. So if you have something where it's a fraction, and like we just did that one, right? X to the third, y squared. And if we took that to the fourth power, this 4 affects this 3. This 4 also affects this 2, okay? So just like if we did this, so again, when we add up all those exponents, we get x to the 12th. When we add up these, 2, 4, 6, 8, we get y to the 8th. Shorthand, where you multiply this 3 times 4, get to that 12. This 2 times 4 to get to that 8. Okay? I say that because you're going to see something usually that pops up, something like this, like and it'll be usually a number. My kid is destroying something in her room. Okay? So we don't really see exponents right here, right? We see a 1 and a 5, or 1/5. But anything without an exponent has a little 1 to it. So when we multiply these two exponents together, or we basically take this -2 and slap it on each other, then we're going to have 1 to the -2 over 5 to the -2. This -2 affects both things, okay? Now it looks kind of gross that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this downstairs, move this upstairs. And when we move it upstairs, that exponent becomes positive. And move this downstairs, that exponent becomes positive. What is 5 squared? 25. What is 1 squared? 1 times 1, so just 1. Okay? If you have something like this, and this will be our last one, promise. If we have 2/3, let's do -2 again. We have a negative out here now. Do this all first, right? Exponent rules apply in our order of operations. So I would recommend just hanging on to that negative sign just way later, okay? And we're going to do 2 to that -2. Take this 3 and apply that -2 exponent. Again, we want to move these to where the exponents become positive. So this is going to go upstairs. This is going to go downstairs. So this will become a 3 to +2, so 3 squared. And down here we'll have 2 squared. So 3 squared is 9. 2 squared is 4. And now, because this negative sign was hanging on the outside, now we're going to slap that on there, okay? And just make it a negative answer. And again, it's okay to have a negative value, just we can't have negative exponents. That's the key. All right, good work.